gonna stop being lazy. Yeah. And I became creative. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come eat.
Welcome back to the Silver Lining. Quick Silver reaction. We are reacting to the Falcons' 41-21 defeat in Minnesota. I am your host, Sterlington. This is the co-host, Cam. Cam, boy, got a lot to unpack today. And this is a game where if we just being frank about it, we not really surprised that they lost. You know, we both picked them to lose. There was some good and bad in this game, but this is one of them games that was it was a little discouraging for me, and I can admit maybe I'm overreacting a little or about to overreact, but I think it's time to make some admissions that we might have spent some money on the wrong guys or the wrong guy, number 18. He didn't have the worst game in the world, you know. He did have them 2 picks, but I'm just look. Before I overreact, I'm gonna say this: we have played a murderous row of defenses. Right, we got the Saints at home, rivalry game. We know they up for that. Played Denver in Denver, caught the Chargers at home, and then we played Minnesota in Minnesota. All right, but I just don't see enough improvement from Kirk as far as not turning the ball over, man. I see that him and Kyle Pitts are just never going to be on the same page. I wasn't impressed with Kyle today. You know, I've been kind of big about letting Kyle off of the hook and, you know, talking about how the offensive coordinator hasn't been necessarily using the right. I still don't think that's the case. But I see how they use Ray McLeod today. And I say they clearly had certain ideas. They know how to use certain guys. You know what I'm saying? Ray McLeod had never been a receiver getting any meaningful reps at receiver. And today he was featured. And he looked good in his role. You know? But with Kyle, man, just watching Kirk and Kyle try to connect, it was horrendous. It was horrendous. And the defense, where do I start with the defense, man? We got lots of pressure, but could not hold up on the back end. And it made so many things come back to light. You know what I think about? When we were going into the season, I just want to see where your head at. When we were going into the year, you know, in the off season, on defense, what was one of the positions that, you know, we had a lot of concern about?
Secondary corner.
Secondary corner opposite AJ Terrell, right?
Yeah.
You know, obviously we were playing a lot more man today, just like we did last week. And last week it looked pretty good, but today, you know, when we stepped out of zone and had on more man responsibilities, corners had a hard time. Cornerbacks not named AJ Terrell were on the ass end of a lot of toastings.
That's actually correct. And
Yeah.
I gotta give AJ credit. He had a pretty decent game today.
And look, Jesse,
and he was the only one.
and Justin, they could not handle their responsibilities as deep safeties.
They couldn't.
Jesse could not keep it. Go ahead.
So granted, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson are probably the best 1-2 in the NFL right now. So we had a big task ahead of us, but even still, you could see that we were outskilled, outmatched, outgunned. It didn't look good. And it showed in the penalties, it showed in some of the man marking. I'm just like some of these plays where some of them I'll say I wish that, like that first Justin Jefferson touchdown, I wish that was AJ on him. But maybe the scheme, maybe the coaching saw something right, which is why they had a different guy on Justin on that play. But man, I knew we were going to lose this one, but man, giving up 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter,
Yeah,
we were tied at the end of the third. That's crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
and
it's crazy. Look,
then
and it's so crazy how the game slipped out of hand because it basically went defense gave up a huge play for a touchdown. We get the ball back, but Ray McLeod, we used the fuck out of him today. I think that might have contributed to him fumbling because then you get that fumble. Vikings score a touchdown again. Now we down 2 scores. We moving along. Kirk throws an errant pass to Kyle Pitts, gets picked off. I think the defense lost complete wind in their sails because they had played the run pretty decent up to that point, and then they just wasn't stopping shit on the ground. They didn't stop a damn thing. And then right then just gave up a 98-yard touchdown drive. 98 yards.
yeah,
And then I put the game away. And that shit got out of hand real quick. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it was just one of them things. So I think the bad part when you start that when you get discouraged, the losing isn't discouraging to me. We could have lost, and it'd have been 20, the scores we predicted, and I would have just said, all right, now we back to the drawing board. This is the part of the year where we got to take over. I believe my original prediction was the Falcons would lose. They would lose last week to the Chargers. They would lose to the Vikings, and then they'll beat Oakland, New York, Washington, and then the Panthers. I don't feel nearly as confident in anything the Falcons do.
I agree.
These
I
jokers
agree.
so when we score 20 points, this is our first loss scoring 20 points. So we're now 6-1 in games where we score 21 points, but we are still winless as expected when we lose the turnover battle. Today, we were 0-3. We forced 0 turnovers while also giving it away 3 times, while also having 127 yards in penalties. I'm like, and look, don't get me wrong now. Some of them holding calls to me were bullshit. I didn't agree with all those. But a lot of them other calls, I'm like, yeah. That penalty on Mike Hughes on Jordan Addison, clear as day. The offsides penalties, the false starts, clear as day. I'm like, is the team not disciplined? What's going on?
I was going to ask you that. Would you attribute this to coaching?
I've been wondering about that. I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things I'm starting to be nervous about because, I think for me, I think we about to look. I think I originally said, after the bye week, the Raheem way gonna be tested. Now that the team on the slide, now that the team going through some shit, your ability to get the team back on track, that's what's gonna make you a good head coach or not. I'm looking and look, the game got out of hand at the end. All right, so I don't want to overreact to just the negatives. All right. Kirk, Zach Robinson, he called a lot of under center for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins did look better. The first pick, I'm just like, here we go with the double clutching and throwing over the middle. You know what I'm saying? And I saw, he was trying to throw to a window, but like, when you looking as a fan, because of X, Y, and Z, because of the double clutch, because of the coverage, whatever, it almost looked like the play was just always covered well, and he still threw it, even though that's how a lot of the plays look. Sometimes you throw into to an open area, and the guy's supposed to fill that area and then catch the ball there. But that's a play where that's how I'm looking at it. That pick he threw, throwing in Pitts' direction, I'm like, Pitts is wide open. Pitts is wide open. Greg Olsen pointed it out. He said they were playing cover 0, and I'm just like, bruh, just throw against the leverage of the man defending your guy. Like, if anything else, when you throw that pass, you just look at it, you say, hey, this guy's on the outside of him. I'm gonna just throw on the half of him that don't got a human being over there, and something good will probably happen. But even if it don't, the bad thing that could happen ain't that bad, right?
No, I
So,
agree.
and then even that other pass he threw to Pitts, that Pitts, you know, look, I ain't gonna lie, man. It was a contested catch to Pitts in the corner of the end zone. Kirk threw it behind. Kirk been throwing. Kirk's accuracy been off all game, for quite a bit games this year actually. His accuracy's just been substandard. He threw it behind, but it was a contested catch, and I'm like, I feel like Pitts, you got to get there. But at the same time, I gotta acknowledge that I'm like, it didn't need to be a contested catch. Just throw it out in front of him. Kyle was running away from the guy, and you could have just let him, but instead you threw it behind, and he had to hop backwards, and the guy was able to challenge the ball at the catch point.
I agree. I agree,
I'm
man. Things
look,
just haven't
man.
looked sharp, and I think you can attribute that to a combination of a rookie play caller and Zach, and albeit he has gotten better, but he has shown rookie play calling mistakes, and you can see these rookie play calling mistakes in every game.
Yeah, at some
Like,
point.
I'll give him credit. He has improved, but you are seeing these mistakes, man. Granted, we can't control that Ray fumble. Shit just happens. But damn, the wheels got to fall off like that. Right after that, man, it's just like, damn, we got no fight back. Then Kirk throws the interception. And it was a bad one too. Like he really overthrew Pitts on that. I'm just like,
Yeah,
ugh. And the DB made a fantastic play.
he did.
I'm like, man, Falcon going Falcon, man. And I will say this: at least it was different this time. I haven't seen us
Oh
forget
no, that's always the problem with the Falcons. It's always a brand new way of losing. It's a brand new way
it.
to do the same shit, man. Them boy, that one way to skin the cat shit, that apply to them.
Oh
Like,
man.
damn, boy. Falcons, boy. Let me tell you how the Falcons do, right? You remember in Game of Thrones when the show, when Theon first get captured by the Boltons, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody come and he let Theon out. You know what I'm saying? He like Theon running around in the woods, he lead Theon the safety, they riding horses and shit. And then it's it's the guy who is leading him around turns out to be Ramsey Bolton, and then he lead him right back to the same room. That's the Falcons. You up here strung up and shit. You think the Falcons coming to save you, and they ride you around and then ride you right back to that same fucking place you was before.
Oh my God, dog.
Yeah, that's how the Falcons do you. That's how they do you. I'm like, oh my God, bro, this man Kirk. And look, when I say it's time to, I think it might be time to start admitting mistakes. Now, I don't want to overreact, like I said, but Kirk might be cooked, man.
He might be.
Like he was playing the worst ball of his career, and there's just so much stuff to consider, right? Like when I see what Kevin O'Connell's doing with Sam Darnold, I'm like, well, who the fuck was the maestro then? Was it you, Kirk, or was it Kevin O'Connell making you look good? I don't want to act that way because I'm like, that ain't the only coach he done played under. He played under Jay Gruden and not Jay Gruden, Shanahan, and then I think Jay Gruden in Washington. Then he was under who was his head coach? You know the one.
Mike
Defensive
Zimmer.
coordinator, thank you, Mike Zimmer. In Minnesota. Then Kevin O'Connell. And now he's here, and he is playing the worst ball of his career.
And you can attribute that. I'd say you can attribute a small portion of that to the play calling. It's a new guy, rookie. Zach Robinson is not perfect. He has shown things where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna just throw you out like that. Like I've liked what I've seen. Like you've shown competency and you've shown that you can improve, and we just got to slowly work on that. Maybe that'd be in the off season or just like we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But aside from that, Kirk, one, he's not mobile. He can't really move. And
He
it's
did
not,
look
and
nice on that one
that
scramble that he got called back though.
yeah, he did have that. He did have that. But yeah, Kirk. The biggest thing about Kirk, which to me is the biggest red flag, where I'm like, it might be time to like put Penix in, is that Kirk has been looking very like indecisive out there. Like
Oh
he's
God.
unsure of himself. Like he's second guessing himself. Now I don't know if that's the play calling. I don't know what that is, or is that his ability. He's second guessing his ability as well because he has been fumbling a lot. He has been throwing a lot of interceptions a lot. I know that's piling up because we had on a 4-game losing streak. And he did single-handedly lose us the game last week. He
Yeah.
was the reason we lost. So I'm thinking this is shit is slowly starting to compound, and I think you might be right. We made a $180 million mistake. And granted,
Yeah.
it's just money. It is what it is. Unfortunately, our team can't get that much better because we have so much money tied into Kirk. But at least we got Penix. And I'm hoping this works out because what I've seen from him so far, even though it's been a small sample size, shown that he has the physical tools and the attributes to be a pretty solid quarterback in the NFL. Now that remains to be seen, but we think it can happen. Does that happen this year? I'm not entirely for sure, considering who we have next. We have the Raiders. If we lose to the Raiders next week, we're cooked.
Oh, if we lose to the Raiders, one, you can kiss playoffs goodbye. Two, I don't want to see Kirk the rest of the year.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to make that point. And that
Oh,
was
I'm sorry.
exactly
Go
what I was
ahead.
going
Go
to
ahead.
ask
Go
you.
ahead.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. At what point do you want to see Penix?
So ideally, right, since I predicted these two to be losses, now obviously the hard part about making these predictions beforehand is thinking that, you think you know how it's gonna look. You know what I'm saying? What you can't predict, what you didn't expect, was that Kirk was gonna be a turnover machine. Right, and it's out of nowhere because that's why I'm confused and don't want to overreact because I'm like, yo, before that, like, he had some turnovers in that Pittsburgh game, but I'm like, first game back, he's been injured. This is first football in a longer amount of time than it is for a lot of other people. New offense, new system. They playing this offense that's easy to predict. So people don't have to guess whether or not it's passed around. It's just a lot of different elements there that you're saying, all right, I see why that happened. But then, he kind of had a stretch where he didn't really turn the ball over. We had quite a bit of the, a stretch where he was not turning the ball over. And then we got to New Orleans and he could not stop giving the ball to the other team since. And he's not his physical attributes aren't looking the best. He's not looking mobile. He's not looking like his arm is just able to fit these throws in that maybe a quarterback with a weak arm couldn't, but because his arm looking so great, he can fit it in. I'm not seeing that. The accuracy on the throws is off. He's starting to have so
His
much.
throws?
And see the other thing too is what I felt was I feel like in the end of the fourth quarter at some point it started to affect the morale of the team.
Because Kirk is playing like quarterback pass. Kirk is playing like Mariota. Kirk is playing like
Like,
Ritter. And it's like, you go back to what you said. Like, is it his physical attributes? Is it because he can't step in the throws? Is it because it honestly, to me, it honestly looked like he has the yips.
yo,
It looks like
bro.
Kirk has the yips. And I think it all compounded, and now we're really starting to see it from him not being able to play preseason to him having a slow start. So I'm thinking he's finally getting over it. He has a 500-yard game, and we're doing well. And then now he's falling back into old ways, and now he's going back into worse ways we've never seen Kirk before. In the last 4 games, he has 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
I
Or
mean,
4
what?
interceptions.
He's 17 and 15 for the year, right?
I don't know. I don't know what it is for the year. I just know he has in the last 4 games 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and that's not even counting fumbles. It's not even counting
That's
fumbles.
not, man. He's lost 4 fumbles, but he had 12. And I'm just like,
Oh
12
man, and it's
fumbles.
just like, when did we put in Penix?
And look, I think next week Kirk playing for his job. I think next week, if the Falcons lose, or if they win in spite of Kirk, it's time to move on. That look, it shouldn't be that way. It should at minimum be Kirk Cousins. If we win, we sticking with Kirk while we still got a chance for the playoffs. That's what it should be. But Kirk is he's playing so honestly, he's playing so poorly that I feel like you can do that with a rookie. You can do that with a rookie. And what the hell I look like giving this guy, who's 36 years old, been in the league 12 years, more opportunities to show me this shit. When I got a guy on the bench who's young, he got his whole future ahead of him. I basically put my job on the line for this guy. I need to see what I got here.
And
Because
I agree.
God forbid now. But what if Penix has too?
Hey, we need to see that. That way we
You
can
need to
draft
find
another
out
quarterback.
early. You need to find out early.
So we can draft another quarterback. Yeah, I
Look,
agree.
another thing I wasn't on board with. I wasn't on board with how when the Vikings went up 41-21, we kept Kirk in.
Oh,
I'm
and I saw
like,
Bijan was in the game too. I was like, why is he in the game?
what
It's
the fuck are
over.
you doing? Your playoff hopes are still on the line. And if you wanted a spark, you should have did that shit earlier. You needed one of those earlier. Like, you scored 3 touchdowns today. This isn't like a game where, you didn't do shit on offense. Like,
Exactly.
when you got a game where you didn't do shit on offense, it's like, all right, we need to kind of see ourselves be successful on offense. I get that. But it's like 3.5 minutes left in the game, and you still got Bijan out there. You still got Drake, Kyle, Kirk. I'm like, bro, Raheem, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, what if Bijan would have tore his ACL or some shit on one of them plays? For what?
For nothing.
For what? Like, and so that's one of them times where I'm scared Raheem is gonna pull an Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith stuck with Mariota too long. And then he stuck with Ritter and overcommitted to Ritter. And then Ritter got rid of him and himself. They both was out of Atlanta now. I'm like, if you want to stay in here in Atlanta, you need to be able to make some tough decisions at the times that it matters.
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking, Raheem, if the season continues the way it has been trending, what does that mean for jobs? You gonna keep Zach? You gonna keep Jimmy? Who getting fired? What does that mean for Terry? He getting fired too? Like, jobs on the line here, not just players, front office. Because this cannot stand. Somebody needs to get held accountable for this. And I like you, Raheem, and I'm a big fan of yours, and I do think you have the pedigree to be successful in the league, and I hope it's with the Falcons. But if he don't start making tough decisions and start and is what you said, making them when it matters, then we're gonna see. Because look at Mike Tomlin. The Pittsburgh was 4-2. And look
They
what
were
he just
winning.
said. Fuck Justin Fields. I'm about to put in
Hey,
Russell
that
Wilson.
man said the offense ain't up to par. I need to see what we can do.
Exactly. Mike
Like, so many
Tomlin knows
times.
how to make tough decisions. Not only is he a player's coach, he's an actual coach. He's an actual
Look,
fucking coach who knows how to handle the team.
I feel like I can give you a lot of examples of, all right, so let me ask. Mike Tomlin, is he a great head coach or not?
Absolutely.
Bill Belichick, great head coach or not?
Absolutely.
Nick Saban, great head coach or not?
Absolutely.
I can give you an example for each one of them making a hard decision with a successful team. And when they made the decision, it worked out. The one you just outlined with Russell Wilson, Steelers were winning. They were winning, and he said, "Nah, I think we're gonna go ahead and go to Russell Wilson." And that's been working out. They've been putting up points on offense, and they still get the same defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick. I don't think we need to go through the whole history, but highest
He's
paid quarterback in the league.
Player before they reach their decline. He always knows how to sell high.
Not even just that, but what happened was, Brady came in. Obviously, Bledsoe got hurt, so it's an easy decision. Just put Brady in. But then Bledsoe, your highest paid quarterback in the league, got healthy again, and he said, "Nah, I'm sticking with the rook." Right? In the national championship, I can't remember what year. I want to say it was like 2016, 2017. I don't remember. It was Alabama versus Georgia. Georgia was dominating that game. Man had Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. Jalen Hurts done led you to the national championship before. Jalen Hurts, all of this, that, and the third. That man said, "All right, we're going to put 2 in at half." Man just said, "Fuck it. We just going to put 2 in." That man loved Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, one of his favorite players. Jalen Hurts, the reason you in the national championship to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That man said, "I'm going to take him out and I'm going to put my other one in. Because I know what I've been seeing in practice, and you know what? It's time to make a hard decision at a moment where it matters."
Preach, my brother.
And that shit gave him another one. Right? That's what great coaches do. They make hard decisions. They got a pulse on the team. All right? I know that Jalen Hurts and Tua, them both been in practice together. I know everybody saw what everybody was seeing. And that should affect how players view you as a coach and view your decision making. That when they seeing Michael Penix, when they seeing, Kirk Cousins, and then they start seeing how that shit playing out on the field, and you just sticking with a guy, you start losing the team. All right? It's time to give serious consideration on when to start Penix. If we could play Oakland and that game close, or like whatever, if we play Oakland and the quarterback position is getting shitty play against that shitty defense, I don't give a fuck if we win or not. It's time to make a hard decision, coach. It's time to make a hard decision.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I completely agree, my brother.
That's right. So I think Kirk playing for his job next week. I think in the long term, now Raheem's job is safe this year, but I think he playing with his future if he doesn't start making these considerations early. All right. You know what else kind of sucks? So I'm looking at the damn standings, man. The Bucks won today. They 7-6, we 6-7. The Saints are 5-8.
Dog, we're
on a crash course for third in the division again.
Hey, we gonna lose. Let's lose out and get a good pick. God damn it.
You know that's not the Atlanta way, boy. Why you even playing like that?
I know.
You know that's not the Atlanta way. Why are you playing with me like that? Why are you playing with yourself like that? Why are you playing with the listeners like that?
The Atlanta way is to go 9-8 and then barely miss the playoffs. That's the Atlanta
somewhere,
way.
Yeah. Oh boy, that would be the Falcon way. And then now you picking, 13th or 14th or 15th, and don't even have a playoff appearance to show for it. Boy, yeah, that would like hell 9-8. That would be tragic. You might be picking 19th.
Dog, how terrible that would be, dog.
Oh my god! But hey, I'll say this much though: if we do the Falcon way, that would make him picking Penix look that much better after how Kirk Cousins been playing.
Oh, for sure.
Be like, damn. He was like, I thought we was gonna make the playoffs, but we did win games. Like I said, we wasn't picking as high like this again. Like I said, ha ha ha. That's what he would be saying, because then you'd be picking way too high for a good quarterback. And
Exactly.
for the odds of a good quarterback. Obviously, some better quarterbacks, get picked in the second, third, whatever. But we talking about of the ones that you think are going to be a hit, i.e., your first rounders. You ain't getting access to that at 19. But we'll see. They say next year, supposed to be a real good draft. Oh my God, we already getting into draft takes. How'd this happen? We
It
thought we was going to
always
be talking
does.
about playoffs. They say next year supposed to have good pass rushes.
Okay. And that's
So,
one thing we for surely need.
boy, I ain't gonna lie, man. This about to piss me off with the way if we can't play man coverage and we end up like taking a corner. I'm gonna be like, boy, all these years of not getting a pass rusher, and this how y'all build the roster. But now we gotta take a corner instead of a pass rusher. Get these sons of bitches out of here.
Yeah. I honestly think I if we don't make the playoffs, somebody getting fired. You think it's gonna be Terry?
Oh, I ain't gonna lie, man. Being a GM, the more head coaches you have on your resume as a GM, the more you about to be giving your resume to somebody else because you need a new job. He done already survived the head coaching fire. We looking at you now. Eyes are on you before it's on the next coach.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Terry, Raheem's job is good for next year. Raheem will be here next year.
Yeah.
Terry, I'm not saying somebody has to get fired. Like if we don't make the playoffs, somebody's getting fired. Who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Jimmy? And I can't even really say because Jimmy has improved. Like I mean, I'm seeing some improvement, but we got to see what the rest of the 4 games look like.
Hey, man,
Remaining the
improved to
season.
the tune of 42 points.
Yeah, now you mention it. Yeah, not that you say it like that. Even though we had a really good first 3 quarters, we gave it 42 points at the end of the day.
Hey,
So,
man, each one of them touchdowns early, though, was on an explosive blow. Not each one of them, because Justin Jefferson had that one right before half, but bro, the explosive plays. And, like, I almost don't even want to put that on Jimmy. I'm like looking at them plays. I'm like, oh, bro, the
that
players
was the
are the
Jimmy's and
ones
Joe's
fucking up.
problem. That was
That really
Jimmy's straight.
was. They had a bad communication issues, and they weren't all. They were almost never on the same page in coverage. And we said going into the game, right? Like we said, hey, we could do some of the stuff we did, like some of the stuff we saw from that Chargers game. We could carry over to this game, but Minnesota got the horses outside. I believe the word we used were thoroughbreds.
Yes.
Stallions, if you will. So they had the horses to really say, hey, if you want to play man, but see what that do for you. And I on the last part, I was shitting all on Sam Darnold. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I ain't a Sam Darnold fan. Sam Darnold threw goddamn 5 touchdowns today. Made me look stupid. And I was recording it on the internet for people to see. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? And I ain't even gonna get mad. I'll say I was wrong, maybe. We'll see. Hey, flukes happen.
They
Sometimes
do.
the guys get one good year and that's it. We'll see how the rest of his career plays out. But and like I said, even then, I don't root against the guy. You know what I'm saying? So, good for him, just not at our expense. Not making me look stupid. Throwing 5 fucking touchdowns. And we looking lost in coverage. Like that was another Falcon way. Of course, the guy got his career best in touchdowns and shit against the Falcons. Yeah. Nothing like somebody doing something they ain't never done before in their entire career when they play the Falcons. Ain't that about right?
Hey, one thing you can count on about the Falcons is that somebody on your team is gonna have a career day.
Well, I might as well go ahead and let everybody know that I did start Donald in fantasy despite all that shit talking I was doing. Because I was like, with the Falcons, you know, hey, look, are the Falcons going to make somebody look as bad as they supposed to look? I doubt it, but you never know. But no, you do. That's a goddamn lie. We knew. Well, I don't want to hold y'all guys hostage. You know, I know when the Falcons lose, it bum you the fuck out. Hey, look, if you're a University of Georgia fan, go Dogs, SEC champs, going to the playoffs. We already got that. If you're a Hawks fan, right now we 6-game win streak. We played the Nuggets today. Hawks looking like they figuring it out. Trae Young looking like he figuring it out. That maybe he need to be more of a playmaker. You got a lot to be excited for in Atlanta. Just not for the Falcons necessarily. But we'll talk about the rest of the season, the next game, and the next one. We just been right now. Y'all go ahead and vent with us. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Cam?
Nothing much, man. Don't take this loss too hard, because if you do, you went for a hard life, man.
Yeah.
Being a Falcons fan, man, just let it wash off your back.
There you go. Hey, and look, this was supposed to be, look, if you believed the predictions we had, these ones supposed to be losses anyway. Did it look the way we wanted it to look? No. But we don't play a good defense for the rest of the year. So next week gets to be the week you officially get your torches and picture. Now get them torches, get the rags oiled up, get the fork sharpened, but don't bring them out yet. All right, we'll save that for next week, and we'll see how things look next week, and then. Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm saying go ahead, spark them things up, get them reports ready. Let's find Terry, let's find him, let's find Arthur Blank. Let's get all of them. Find Kirk too. All right.
I agree.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you joining us after the game. Sorry, we couldn't make an episode about them winning. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the little bell when you want to know some real niggas uploading. Peace.